I just, why would you? I don't like to be consumed for stimulation. If there is no reason to with me, if you have nothing tangible to bring to me, do not even try to get my attention. If you allow people to dump on you and if you're always available for anything, people will waste you, people will waste your time. And when will you get time to actually get things done, You are not stimulating enough. There is no reason to chat with you. Like, I cannot be hi, hey, every day, other day. My day is good. I'm fine. I'm alive. That's it. Don't ask me that again 5 times a week. So, in this video today, I'm going to talk about the importance of being selfish in order to achieve a certain quality of life. And by selfish, I don't mean, it is it's a clickbait world, okay? Most people will click on the video when they see selfish, but really, what I mean is just things that you do that when you do them, you only focus on yourselves and not on any other people. Even though I do believe like selfish, these habits, though they may sound selfish, it's not meant to hurt other people, but it's meant to make us focus and prioritize ourselves. I believe all of us have a capacity, a certain level of capacity to people please, and most of the time you end up being overwhelmed by other people's lives, which lead us down to a narrow path of self-neglect. And before you know it, you are not prioritizing your goals and yourself and your life the way you should be, and you don't get to the bag. So in this video, I'm going to talk about ways on how you're going to prioritize yourself, even though it may feel disrespectful to those people who are entitled to taking from us without guilt. But I do believe that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You need to fill your cup yourself first before you pour into other people. So let's just get to it. So let's get first to the one thing that I started doing recently over the years, but I've really stepped on it this year, which is I don't answer calls and texts when I'm doing something or when I'm busy. It could be I'm reading, I'm taking walks. Sometimes you're just somewhere cool, clearing your head. Even that is busy. I've come to learn that people will always consume you if you allow it, okay? Now, over my entire life, most of my entire life, I've always been that girl who people can call when they need someone to talk to. I've always been the sounding board. And in as much as that feels really good to be needed in some way, it's very consuming energy wise and time wise. And before you know it, you can't get your things done. Your work is not done, and most of the time you feel overwhelmed by other people's things, which are not even yours, okay? If you allow people to dump on you and if you're always available for anything, people will waste you, people will waste your time. And when will you get time to actually get things done? Since I implemented this and I've been really strict on it, most of my things I'm on time. My work ethic has been really sharp, especially from last year. Like, I've been on top of my things, okay? So I would advise, like, during this time you can put your phone on DND. And me, I know I'm not a good communicator, especially when I'm pissed or I'm in my feelings, but over time I've learned like to express myself and let people know that I'll get back to them or it's not a good time. That way I get to actually prioritize my work, minus the distraction, minus the all the calls. And that way my things are in line, okay? So I would advise, like, do not be too available. Like, you're always on FaceTime with your friend every time in the morning. Me, or in the morning you cannot access me. I do not care. You better be on fire if you have to call me in the morning. I cannot engage in full blown phone conversations in the morning. That's not my time. Neither do I do that in the night. Okay. So I will not be that kind of friend that will be on the video call talking about your abusive boyfriend from Monday to Monday, every morning to evening. I cannot do that. Like, I'm very strict with my time. I love to be on top of my things, okay? And I'm very, very, you see this thing, this mobile phone, I am very strict with it. I'm very disciplined with it. So it's so hard for me to break, unless it's that important. I'll always put my work before my phone, okay? Now, this kind of brings me to an even broader situation, which will be my second point, which is do not let people occupy your mind and your time if they don't have a plan for you. Okay, hear me out. Now, let me elaborate this further into why this is sort of a selfish kind of habit that I had to implement. So, for example, you're right. I just meet someone online. I'm just getting to chat with someone. Let's say a man. Okay, we are chatting online for some time, and I enjoy good conversations. Okay, but the moment I realize that we are just chatting, there is no plan to this. We are just talking back and forth, texting back and forth from morning to evening, and clearly there is nothing to it. There is no real planning or real intent beyond the chatting. I'm just being used for stimulation. I mean, I had to cut all those things off. During my adolescence days, during puberty, I used to enjoy talking to boys. For some reason, that was my quirk. Mine was mood swings and quirk. I didn't have, my parents were really strict with me, so I didn't have room to do a lot. So for me, it was the fun. I really loved texting, and I kind of carried this into adulthood somehow, and until I realized that people will just chat you for their own stimulation. People are just bored and they have no reason, they have nothing to do with you. You cannot call on them for anything. They're not really significant in your life, but you're just there to be a tool. Because you can just respond to a text doesn't mean you have to respond to a text. Okay. And I since I put that down, it's been years, to the point I'm really bad with my phone. It's so hard to get me to sit and just chat with you consistently. Unless we have met in person and I really enjoy conversations, then we can carry on from there. But just random people online, we're just texting back and forth for no reason. I'm not going to be a stimulation. I'm not anyone's entertainment. That is not my line of business. I don't see myself as that. And there is a lot to do. Adulting has a lot to do. Why would I be sitting there and just be texting back and forth with you for the sake of it? If it's not business, if you're not really intending, you don't have really tangible intentions with me, reasonable intentions with me, then I don't have time for that. Soon as I realize that, I have learned to just cut things short. The conversation, the chat, I will ghost you. Me, yeah, I will ghost you. There's nothing to it. And also, I don't like the idea of people just coming and going as they please in my life. Okay, there's no revolving door here. I'm the CEO. I decide if you're going to be here or not. You just don't come here because you feel like, okay, let me talk to her. I can just go talk to her. It's never going to happen. I hate that idea because I just why would you? I don't like to be consumed for stimulation. If there is no reason to with me, if you have nothing tangible to bring to me, do not even try to get my attention. I'm like that in real life. Now in on the phone, now I'm worse. People have called me a snob, bad texter, nothing. It's you. You are not stimulating enough. There is no reason to chat with you. Like I cannot be hi, hey every day, other day. My day is good. I'm fine. I'm alive. That's it. Don't ask me that again 5 times a week. I don't even do talking. Talking what? What is it called? A talking stage. For me, if I'm going to be on the phone with you, it's after a good conversation, after we've met in person and we kind of vibe. Okay, and that is very rare. People nowadays are not good conversationalists. They'll just occupy your time and space for no reason, then they disappear and then they come back. That hey, how you doing? What? No, I don't like that. So, to my next point. So this point kind of ties down or further elaborates my last point, which is be selfish and cut things down, cut things off, okay? The date, the conversation, or even a person in general. So people argue with me that not everyone has to prove some sort of impact in my life or some sort of, something tangible. And I disagree because number one, I'm a busy woman. I have things to do and I do not use people for entertainment. because number one, I don't see myself as entertainment to other people. I don't need court gestures, okay? If I need to be stimulated, if I need to be entertained, I know where to go to. And I have cultivated enough activities and things to do for my pastimes to generate enough stimulation to make myself happy. Guys, I'm a loner. I know what to do. I don't need to be entertained by meaningless conversation or just having people around me in general for no reason. If anything, having people around me just drains me. I thrive in solitude. You may argue with me, but I don't care. That's just how I roll, okay? I'm very selfish with my energy and my time because I've I was brought up as a people pleaser, so people used to take for me a lot, and that really degraded me. And to the point I was even losing it. My doors were always open. People could just come in and do it, whatever they want. And let me tell you, I got to that serious age where I was like, I have to prioritize myself. And once I start checking the weeds in my field, I realized there's a lot of people just occupying space and time who have, I cannot even call them for a dime. I cannot call them for even a decision. Why are you in your space again? So just be selfish and cut those conversations. You don't need to endure a long date. You're standing there with a person in general who clearly, even from the conversation, you can tell they have no care about you. They're just talking for the sake of talking. I mean, if you have time for that, good for you. But for me, I'm too busy for that. I'd rather just come back home and think about what I'm going to talk about in my next video, or just clean, or just watch my favorite shows, or just sit in silence. My house is always silent and I love it like that. I don't like just to be engaged for no reason. I don't like people just trying to get my attention for no reason. Okay? So to my next point. So another selfish habit, which is has much to do with your health and well-being, which is your gym time is your you time. I mean, if you have been feeling a bit depressed, you're feeling dull, lethargic, it's because you're not moving your body. In 2026, you need to prioritize your well being and fitness. Let me tell you, ladies, you need to take those walks. You need to go to the gym. You need to lift things. You need to get things pumping. That way, you have a clear mind. It's life gets so easy. I don't know. I'm not like a gym rat like that. I enjoy walks, and most of the time I'll work out at home. But even if I'm going to the gym, I don't like to go when people are there. I don't like to be disturbed again. So I'll go when people are not there, like really early in the morning. And if I'm uncomfortable being around people, I'll just do my home workouts in the house. But most of the time, those walks, I'll put my phone on D&D and I treat them as me time. I treat them the same way I treat my skincare. Okay, like it's a necessity. It's like a ritual for me. You know, those days when I used to lie down, I did not prioritize, moving and everything. The depression, I could not come up with clear thoughts. I was always foggy. You even feel like life is so hard, but really, it's just your body. Learn to move your body, prioritize your well-being and your fitness, and during that time, make it like a ritual, make it a selfish habit. To the point where I've gotten to a place, even if I'm so busy and it's time for, it's 4 p.m., I need to go for that walk. I'll pause everything and I'll go for that walk. I wake up in the morning, I'll do a few stretches. It's already in me, it's a part of my life. My body's already used to it. That way, I'm always clear, I'm always sharp, I'm ready to do things. I'll not be sitting at a corner brooding the way I used to, brooding over things that are not working. I'm very active and very focused. You need to prioritize you cannot be those people. In as much as you want to look good, the gym is not only for looking good, it's also for your well-being. As time goes further, as adults we don't play a lot like children. I feel like gym is one of those places where you can play, like you can move your body like you are playing. You get to be fun and light. I don't know how to explain this. Like, just prioritize your health and well-being and make it a you time. Make it something that is selfish, not just for cosmetic purposes or aesthetic purposes, or you just want to wear something cute. Do those walks, especially if you want to maintain your youth and vitality. There's a point you have to work out, ladies. You just have to work out. Okay. So, on to my next point, which is another selfish habit that I've cultivated. which it has helped me to like nurture myself, especially if you're a perfectionist like me, is dedicate a day in the week that is just for you. For me, it was on a Sunday. I get to wake up at the time that I want. No one gets to tell me anything. It can be that day, I can decide it is a self care day, it is a journaling day. I can just sit and watch movies. But also on that day, I'll like plan my entire week. I'll schedule just a few, some minutes to schedule my days out for the week so that when the week starts, when the week rolls over, I know exactly what I need to be doing. But also, this is the day I take it easy. I can cheat on my meals on this day, you know. Basically, what I'm saying is everybody needs to like schedule a day where it's not that serious, where it's just for you. It doesn't have to be crazy like me, but it can be just the day where you're just in your pajamas the whole day. You can sleep the whole day. You don't have to answer your calls and text. You don't have to be in a hurry. You're not busy with chores and everything around the house. You're just chilling. It's just for your day. This way you get to pour back to yourself. And when the week comes, you don't feel overwhelmed or you feel like you're always on the run or always on the rat race, you know. You need to slow down for yourself. Rest is essential. Rest is way important even than exercise at some point, you know. You need to slow down. You need to have your days. You know, for me, I can just decide the entire Sunday and I'll just sleep. I'm just in bed. I'm not doing anything. It's just when I get off the bed, I'm going to get something to eat. Then I'm back on the bed. And it's very satisfying. You don't have to attend everything that you need to attend on the weekends, okay? It doesn't have to be on a weekend also. You just schedule a day in the week just for you. Prioritize your rest, prioritize your well-being, and just slow down so that when the week starts over or when you're back on it, you're good, you're clear, you're well rested, okay? And now to my sixth point, which is invest in yourself. Now, I always talk about investing in yourself, and by this I mean it is less about needing to have something and more of how that thing makes you feel, how better, how what kind of impact it brings to your life. Okay, for example, it could be the perfume. Okay, if it is a perfume, it makes you feel bold, it makes you feel happy, it makes you feel beautiful, it makes you feel confident. It could be a dress, it makes you feel classy. It's something that you can pass down to your kids, you know. When we were younger, it was more about designer clothes and labels and what is flashy. But as you grow, you realize you need a few statement pieces that really brings you out, you know, something that you can leave for your daughter in the future, you know. Things like that, things that makes your life feel more beautiful and simpler and fun, things that makes you feel like you. That's what you invest in, you know. It can be, some things can be pricey and necessarily is not that pricey, you know. It depends on what you need. Remember, it's not about having or needing to have a thing. It's more about how that thing makes you feel, how the kind of impact it brings to you. And most of the time you focus on the positive impact it brings to you, okay? Just to add on, you know, when you invest in yourself, it makes you, when you feel beautiful, when you invest in yourself, it makes it easier to do healthy things. You know, you'll want to eat better, you'll want to eat clean, you want to exercise because now you are pouring into yourself. You don't want to, you know, scatter yourself again. You treat yourself like an investment, like a trophy. And it makes it, once I started investing in myself, I started noticing I even get prettier. Like, you feel more beautiful, you get more confidence because your self-esteem, you get a better self-esteem boost because you feel like you are worth something, you are something. You cannot settle for something that is less the treatment that you give yourself. Okay, now to my next point. Now, another point number seven, another selfish habit that I have had to incorporate is plan accordingly. Now, being an not alcoholic, a workaholic, like me, a perfectionist, like me, I run on schedules, I run on routines. I hate to be infiltrated by people, you know. I don't let just people infiltrate me like that, you know. I don't like impromptu, just, hey, come, no, especially if it's during the weekdays, during important business hours. No, that way I get to save a lot of time and I save a lot of energy. Like my previous points, you know, people will overwhelm you with their nonsense, you know. You'll be consumed with things that have nothing to do with you. And you get to realize that you have less energy and less time to focus on the things that really need your attention, okay? For me, During work time is during work time, and if you even have, you're not like me, you have more flexible schedules, like you don't have like a 9 to 5, you kind of on you can to you can run your own time by yourself. I mean, schedules are very important. That way you're on top of of your things. You don't get to be swayed in and out, because if you allow people to, infiltrate you, they will. People will come and take and distract you, and before you know it, you have not done anything. Why do you think that we get to the end of the year and you realize most of the things you did not do them? It's not because you could not do them, it's not because you did not have the strategy. Sometimes you just did not have the time, and the time that you say you did not have is because you are busy extending yourself to things that did not matter to you. You have to be accountable for your time management is key. Every person that I've met, every person that I know of that is successful, they are very, very on top of their time. Time management is very important, it's very crucial, and that comes with a lot of planning. You have to be like a secretary of some sort to yourself. Okay, organize your time, have time blocks for things you can know, for things you do. It's not like it's a Tuesday afternoon and someone is just calling you, hey, let's go somewhere for a drinks, let's chat. You cannot just go out and chat whilst you have to make some calls, you have to make emails to your clients. You already planned that, you have to do that until the designated time. If they cannot wait until Friday or until when you can do that, then they have to go. That way it's easier and you don't even feel guilty. Okay, so to my next point. So another point is, stop being the go-to friend. I know it sounds weird, especially it really feels good when you know you are needed. It comes with a sort of validation, some sort of importance, but let me tell you, it can quickly get so overwhelming. It is important to allow people to have people have their own bandwidth, especially when it comes to relationships, even friendships. You have to allow people to be able to make their own choices and to do things for themselves. You can't be the person that every time they need to call you to make a decision, to do something for them every time. Like for me, I don't like that. I don't like I'm in the middle of my day, I'm very busy, I'm doing my own things, and then I get a random call which completely throws me off, and now I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, I'm confused now, I have to start all over. I don't like that. Allow people the space and the time to do. And for me, this is very important. I check that at the door. If you are not your own person, it's very hard for me to like mingle with you like that. I'll not go that deep with you. I'll not be that close to you, because I know such kind of people are get to be very overwhelming. They get to lean on you like that. So I don't do clingy. I don't do clingy or needy. Like, I believe like people have to be their own person. We are now adults. There's some things you cannot call me for every minute decision you need my intake. And for me, like I'm that kind of a person who, when I see something, I'll put you on. It's easy to be confused as always available. Like, what's my opinion? Yes, I'm open to share my opinion, but there's some things I expect you to like just do for yourself. Like, we are adults, we are busy. We cannot be calling back and forth every time. Let's respect each other's time. And I know for some people that is so hard to for them to even consume, but for me, I'll just stand on the boundaries, for because boundaries will help me discern. Like, the right people will respect the boundaries, the wrong people, those are the needy people, those are the clingy people, and most of the time they don't bring anything to the table. They're just there to take with a large sense of entitlement. Like, no, I don't need that in my circle. And if you easily get overwhelmed and you are this kind of a person who you are always the go-to, if someone needs to make a decision, they need you, they are calling you, they need you to help them, you move out, they need you to figure out something. Like, befriend adults, leave children alone. Okay, so to the next point. Now the next thing is to embody a soft living. Okay, slow down, slow down. And I struggle with this personally. I'm always in a rush, even when I'm not in a rush. I'm so used to doing things like this. When you slow down, it reduces that anxiety. For me, I hate being angst. I do not even put myself in situations that make me angst. I ate anxiety. And I realized one of the causes of the anxiety was I was always rushing to anything. Nowadays, if we are going to meet and I realize that, okay, I need to get something to eat first so that when we meet, I'm chilled, I will do that. Before then, I'll be like, I need to meet this. For me, it's meeting the deadline, getting things done, doing this. And that really ruined my nervous system. Okay. I was always angst. I could not rest. Even if I'm lying down, I'm thinking of the 10 things I have to do. And that really affected me not only on my nervous system, it could even show on my skin. I was always breaking out. I had a really bad eating habit. I could go like 3 days, I'm not eating solid food, and then on the fourth day I'm eating junk, and then I go another 3 days, I'm just drinking tea. It was so bad. It was so bad. I had to slow down. I had to plan things, and you can argue like for you to not to rush, you can do things earlier, but also what if an inconvenience, like maybe you are planning to go somewhere, okay, and then it starts raining, what do you do? Okay, you have to have strategies on how you carry out yourself. You can decide that I'll be doing these things on a certain day, so that when this day comes, I don't feel the rush or the urge to do things. Things are already in place. Wake up earlier, so that, like an hour earlier, so that you, even if you're going to get to work an hour earlier, you have avoided the traffic, and that way you're not rushing to do things. At least you better be early, and then you do things at your own pace, okay? Anyway, now to my last point. So, lastly, is create a reward system for your life and for your routines. Okay, I came up with this so that I can. It makes me feel like I love my life. Okay, for example, if I have to clean, okay, I'll clean my house, and then after I can schedule. Maybe I'll make a happy meal for myself, and then I'll get to watch my favorite show. Okay, or I can go for a walk after I clean, or I can listen to my favorite YouTuber, me, of course. But come up with this reward system so that I don't feel like I'm always punishing myself. It gets to a point you feel like life is not good, life is not happy. It's because you're not prioritizing yourself. You're not. I always say this: treat yourself like your own baby. Okay, whenever you do something that is challenging or something that you feel like it really needs extra from you, have a reward system. It could be as small as going to get your favorite coffee. Sometimes I don't even feel like making these videos, but I'll get up and I'll do them, and then after that, okay, let me go to the mall, let me get something to eat. Then I'll feel okay, much better, so that next time when I can be even more motivated to do even more videos, even I can be motivated to clean. I don't feel like I'm suffering or I'm dragging on. My life is so hectic to the point where there is nothing good to pinpoint. You create happy times in your life. You don't wait for happy times. Okay? Bad times will always happen. I don't know why it goes like that. It's just life. To live is pain, to die is gain, okay? But if you want your life to be smoother, yani, just create real system for yourself. Always, also, it is a way of pouring back to yourself. I have a video on how you can pour back to yourself. I might add it here. Incorporate this system so that you don't feel like your life is hell, so that the hard tasks don't feel that hard, and you're also motivated to do those hard tasks. And before time, it becomes part of you. You just know, after I clean, I'll go get a happy meal. You're good. That way you get to do the things that are necessary, and you don't feel like a drag. Okay, so I think that's all I have for today, for this video. So let me see you on the next one. Okay.